So here's the deal with Fallout 4 VR. Basically, what I wanted to do in this video is give a little bit of my first impressions, a mini review, and just my opinions on Fallout 4 VR, and mostly VR in general. A lot of people in the Fallout 4 and Skyrim modding communities were just kind of introduced into VR, not because it didn't exist before or people didn't own it before, but because two of our favorite games, Fallout 4 and Skyrim, just got VR ports. Obviously, there's a lot of added interest from the general gaming community because these are two really big games that honestly seem really interesting in VR. An open world RPG in VR sounds like a great experience. So is it? And now to be clear, I only got my Vive a few days ago. Over the past 4 days or so, I've been playing a lot of different games, Fallout 4 included. I streamed a bit of it yesterday, as well as I have played a little bit of it off stream, and I've experienced it enough that I think I have a pretty good idea of what it's going to play like and to give an opinion on it. When you first jump into VR, it's a pretty surreal experience. Unfortunately, it's not very streamable or recordable. It's just kind of janky in that sense, which is unfortunate. Hopefully that's something we could see improve somehow in the future. I don't really know how, but either way, Fallout 4 VR was a cool experience. Getting to explore the wasteland and just look around. The first time you do it, it's kind of hard to explain. It's just weird. Like, imagine being able to turn to your left and see your kid there. Fortunately, they also managed to get movements to work. So basically, as you push, you're going to walk in a certain direction. A lot of other VR titles actually require teleportation. So rather you point your little stick somewhere and then you can click to teleport to that location. For obvious reasons, that's not nearly as immersive and takes you out of it a little bit. The gunplay is also a lot of fun. Being able to actually point your weapon at someone, pull the trigger, just feels much more realistic. And I would say just getting to experience the world in a way more immersive way is one of the best parts about Fallout 4 VR. It really takes it to a whole nother level, and honestly, if you go to a store and they have it playing, try the headset on. Hopefully you have like something to clean it, but just walk around for like 5 minutes and I think it'll be pretty cool. Unfortunately, I feel like that could be enough for a lot of you. There's also a lot of issues with Fallout 4 VR and really just VR in general. I imagine I'll get some hate for these, especially because I'm fairly novice to it, but having just spent $600 on my Vive, configuring it, playing a bunch of games over the past 4 days, I don't know if I'd spend $600 again. Obviously, I can make videos on it, so it's kind of more of an investment, if you will, for me. I don't regret buying it, but I don't think if I was just a typical consumer, I would get into VR right now. First, let's start with the visuals. You're going to notice instantly when playing VR, it is a visual downgrade to your typical 1080p or even 1440p monitor. Now, it might be a little bit on the higher end of the spectrum. I've been using a 1440p monitor for like years now. I also do have a secondary 4K monitor, so maybe you could call me a little spoiled in that regard, but even still, VR is actually played in a resolution lower than 1080p. So even if you're on a console playing on a 1080p TV, you probably will notice a difference. The reason for this is the screens in the VR headset are so close to your eyes. You can physically see the actual pixels a lot of the times, and that for me was kind of distracting. I definitely noticed it a lot more than I hoped I would. Even beyond that, certain things are just a little bit more wonky and janky. Sometimes moving around got a little bit frustrating. It just definitely isn't as natural. I feel like I got used to it and I could be pretty proficient at it, but I would still prefer a controller or mouse and keyboard any day of the week. And then one final thing that kind of really jumped out at me was the management of like inventory and just doing kind of those tedious tasks in Fallout 4 in general. In VR, they were definitely going for that like immersive feel. You had to swipe through your Pip-Boy and manage things that way, but it just seemed like a nightmare. I know there's tons of times in my survival playthrough where I have to do a lot of inventory management. Doing that level of management in VR seems like it would not be a lot of fun and just take a lot of additional required mental thought. So if you want to call this my review or my first impressions combined with the review, if you are sitting on $600 right now, or it might even be a little bit more expensive now, I know we got a like sale, but if you are on the fence about buying a Vive and getting Fallout 4 VR, I would hold off. I really just don't think it's at a state yet where it is ready for that. It's cool, it's a novelty. If one of your friends got it, I would recommend trying it out, but it still feels like VR is in a prosumer world, not something that everyone or everyday people will want to buy. Even beyond all that, I know the Vive is supposed to be coming out with a second iteration coming soon, so I would wait off for that definitely. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on Fallout 4 VR. I'm probably going to be streaming more of it later today. I do still want to play it. I don't think I'll get through the whole game. I think Oxhorn's like about to finish the game, which I have no idea how he did that. I also do want to reemphasize, these are just my opinions. Obviously go watch other reviews. If you're actually on the fence about buying this or maybe asking for it for Christmas, see what other people have to say. Don't just listen to me. What do I know? I mean, I do own it and play it, but you know, other people probably have other opinions, so listen to both sides of the story. But yeah, that's pretty much it. As always, again, I thank you for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time. Later. Oh, actually, one last note. I feel like I should mention I bought all this myself. I didn't get sent anything. I tried to get sent stuff. Me being a YouTuber had nothing to do with me buying a headset. I got no discounts or anything like that. Just as a disclaimer, because I feel like I should say that. Otherwise, people will think I'm a sellout, I guess. I don't know. I didn't give a good review. So yeah, bye.